What up, people? I am back. Sorry I didn't do a video yesterday. I was supposed to do Tomorrow Never Dies, but I was out really late, and by the time I got back, it was too late. So I'm gonna save Tomorrow Never Dies just for next week. But today, we're talking about another Mel Gibson movie. In my opinion, if after Lethal Weapon, I would say this is his best movie, easily. The Patriot. Him as Colonel Benjamin is one of the best. Benjamin Martin is one of the best characters. That scene when he's holding his son Gabe after he got killed by Tavington. Oh my god, there's like I'll admit this review might be all over the place because there's so much good. Not just like we could start with like I think this is probably the best Revolutionary War movie or a movie that deals with that topic. I'd argue the way they were able to capture that aesthetic, like it feels like you're in that time. With the sets, the costumes, the performances alone. Jason Isaacs as Tavington is one of the best villains. That scene when he kills well, yeah, when he kills Gabe, but when he kills Benjamin's other son, the middle-aged son, when he's trying to save Gabe from, stop Gabe from being arrested. That scene's hard to watch, man. Fucking, like, Tavington just in general is such a good bad guy. Like, Jason Isaacs made you hate him. Like, you wanted him to get his. Like how casual he was just about, like, burning a village down, because there's a scene he burns, like, a church down. He kills Gabe. He kills, Benjamin's other son, and that other son's like middle, it looks about like preteen, and was just casually shot. Like he just casually shoots him. It's like this movie does not hold back on the violence, man. Like the final battle pretty much is pretty gory. Like they do not hold back. But basically, the movie is about a man during the war. Basically his son Gabe joins the army, and he reluctantly basically is forced to join to save his son. And but the way they were able to bring in history but also make it about this story is great. Like I mean the story's really simple. It's not like an over the top story movie. It's he ends up joining the battle because his son died. So he wants to get revenge, essentially. Slowly, Benjamin does his own raids because he gets nicknamed Ghosts because during the night he would attack British, like basically any kind of British stock or any kind of shipment coming in. He would attack. Like, yeah, I will say this, man. This movie does not hold back on the violence. It really doesn't. Like, that scene where Gabe gets stabbed is one of the saddest scenes. It's like you got fucking Benjamin holding him. Yeah, very well acted. Or even in the last scene when I keep saying Mel, but when Benjamin fights Tavington in like a sword fight, and those stabs, man. And then Tavington, he dies pretty brutal. Fucking Benjamin stabs him in the throat with a bayonet. Like they do not hold. Like I said, it's not like I won't say it's like platoon violent, but it's pretty violent. General Cornwallis. I thought the actor I recognized him from Rush Hour. He was the bad guy in that movie. I thought he was great in this. And then the scene in the end when he finally fucking gives up is so good. This is easily the best. Like, I watch this definitely every year for 4th of July. I was gonna watch it Tuesday, but I was already watching too many movies, and this movie is pretty long. It's almost like 3 hours, but I figure this was a good time as any. I've been wanting to review this one for a while, but I figured why not wait for the week of 4th of July. So yeah, I'm happy to watch it again. This movie holds up, man. It's such an iconic movie. Easily, Mel's performance in this is top notch. Like, he fucking kills it in every scene. Or there's that scene when he saves Gabe, from the raid, and he just has that berserk mode. He just starts killing this dude, just crazy. Yeah, music. John Williams did the score. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know that it was John Williams who did the score. Yeah, this isn't like all I meant. The score isn't like up there with the more iconic ones, but the score for this movie is pretty beautiful. And they like the music that played when Gabe died. Hold on, sorry about that. When the music that plays when Gabe dies is pretty good. Like the somber feel. Like, yeah, man, I definitely recommend this movie. Yeah, it's almost 3 hours, but it's not long. Like, maybe like the first hour at most is a bit slow, but I feel like once you get past that shit, it goes, man. Like, they do not like hold back. So anyway, tomorrow I'll be doing Candyman 2. I watched it once. I don't really remember it. The most I remember is it goes more into his backstory. But that's about it. So I'll be reviewing that tomorrow. I hope it's decent. I don't remember it at all. So it's basically it's practically watching it for the first time again, because yeah, I don't remember it at all. I fucking don't. Like, I can't front. Like, I do not remember it at fucking all. So Saturday I'll be reviewing The Gamers. I'll probably do that Saturday like evening at some point, and then I'll figure out what I'll do Sunday. I don't really, because there's no movie release this week, so at least that I plan on seeing. So yeah, but anyway, let's get started on the Patriot. I guess before, out of 10, I'd give the Patriot like a 10. This is one of the rare few movies I'd give a 10. Dude. Like, it's everything you want. Like, great performances, the battle sequences are great. um and like, they really make you really feel like you're in the 1700s in this movie. Like, they really capture like that that look perfectly. So yeah. So this is where we meet Benjamin. He's a former and in the military who he kind of like doesn't want his son to join the military, and this is during the basically like the start of the Revolutionary War. And um like I said, the first hour is a bit slow. Like, it is more on the world building. You gotta get to know these characters. It's not really like an action fest until like the scene where Tavington and his people arrive at Benjamin's house, and that's kind of where I feel like the movie really, really starts. Because yeah, that first hour is a bit slow, but it's not a boring slow. Like, it's a good slow. Like, you kind of are wanting the build up, and you kind of they give you the feel of this time. Like, that's why I love this movie. Like, I love period pieces when they're done right. When you feel like you're in that time, like you feel like it's almost like a time machine. And I feel like that's what this movie really did. It felt like it was a time machine. Like, you're actually looking at the 1700s. The costumes, even down to like, yeah, just even down to the costumes, the way people talked, the dialogue. It's like, I actually feel like they put research into this movie. It wasn't just like, oh, we're gonna just make a movie set during this time. We're actually gonna research like the costumes and research the props and make sure we got like the right, even like the dialogue right. Like, make sure it feels like we're trying to match the time, because a lot of the bad like movies where it's supposed to be a period piece, but they're speaking like modern lingo. Like, none of that in this. Well, this came out in 2000, but yeah, there wasn't dialogue where I'm like, okay, that just feels like that's just dialogue from 2000. Like, no, that you feel like it's from that time. So Tavington, basically orders to take Carl's people to make him loyalists for England. Arrests Gabriel, youngest or middle aged son tries to stop. This scene makes me sad, man. He wants to be a soldier like his dad. Well, because his dad obviously he's gonna listen because he doesn't want his son to die. So he kind of cooperates and kind of tells everyone to calm down. But when everybody's like, when they start handcuffing Pete, middle son tries to save him. Tavington shoots him, and yeah, it is very tragic. Like I said, you don't want to see a kid get shot, but like they do not. I do think it does show how raw, how it also does really make the British look bad. Like at that time, I think that's more why I love the movie. It's just like it is kind of nice to just have a villain that's like just yeah, Tabington's evil. No backstory, no bullshit about like him being sympathetic. No, he's a bad guy through and through. I mean, I'm jumping ahead, but there's a scene later where he burns a church down. Him and his people, like with people in it, including kids. Just how casual he's like, yeah, just kill him. What about the traitor, sir? One of his soldiers did. He clearly didn't want to kill him, and it's like, kill him. Like, just casual about it. It's so, like, that is how you do a villain. Like, Cornwall is, like, the villain, too, but if anything, Tavington's really the villain. He's the actual, like, villain of the movie, I feel like. He's the one who's the foil, in a sense, to... And the fact, yeah, Martin had to just watch that, and he couldn't do anything. So, this is when we get the ghost. He starts donning the ghost, where basically he starts killing British soldiers, like, but they don't know who it is, kind of thing. I love those sequences, and yeah, he ends up joining the army again, which is great. Like, yeah, so, like, that's what I mean when I say, like, when you get to that scene with the mid-son, that's when the movie really starts, I feel like, because, yeah, when he rejoins the army, and that's the other thing about this movie, there were black soldiers in the movie. I mean, because that was historically accurate, but it's also just pointing out they didn't virtue signal about it at the time. Like, oh, we have black people in our movie. No. They're just there. Like, normal. And yeah, you have a French leader who... I recognize that actor. I think he was the villain in Bad Boys. That's where I saw him from. The French guy that trains, Martin and his people. Yeah, he's, I really like with this movie, like, they got that right, because, yeah, the French did help America, during, that time, so it's, like, they really did their homework with this movie. It's like, they knew what they were doing. Yeah, it's a Hollywood movie, right, so it's gonna be a bit of Hollywood fluff, but it's still, they really did try to, it's almost like one of those movies, even though, yeah, it's pretty gory, you can show, like, in a history class, because it really does show you the history. If you're, like, learning about Revolutionary War, I think this movie is one of those movies that you can almost use as this is how you can learn about it. Because, yeah, it's very violent, like I said, it's a very visceral movie, especially that scene with the sons, because I would say, yeah, Gabe's death's pretty sad, too. Like, yeah. So, yeah, he starts training them. This is then where they attack Tavington, and his people have a little face-off with a couple of the Americans, or the rebels, whatever you want to call them. We get a skirmish, and this is where, yeah, Gabe's death, man. It's... Yeah, Heath Ledger, I really think, did a good job as Gabriel. Like, you get to know a lot of his character, and why you understand why he wanted to join the army, and even kind of restored faith back into his dad, who kind of didn't, he joined the army initially, but then didn't, but then, well, then, like, quit, and then, so yeah, Gabe kind of restored his love for that, and so, Gabe almost killed, to be fair, he almost did kill, Tavington. Like, he had him down. It's just Tavington played dead. Tavington got shot, like, in the shoulder. So it was, like, somewhere non-lethal. And he was, like, kind of on his belly. Then Gabe was about to stab him. And then Tavington turned around and stabbed him with the bayonet in the chest. And man, it's such a sad scene. I remember every time I watch that scene, it's just like, it's such a sad scene. Because it's like, this is one of those movies where, father-son relationship, the relationship between Martin and his son is done so well throughout the movie. Even when they do, get into an argument and shit, you feel the love, and then that fucking Martin's reaction. Where, speaking of which, Mel Gibson's performance in this scene is top notch. If I had to say performance-wise, this probably is his best movie. As much as I love Riggs is my favorite role of his, so I'm gonna say Lethal Weapon, but if we're being like performance, is this one. I love Braveheart too, which I am gonna review next week, since I haven't reviewed that one, and I haven't done all of Mel Gibson's movies. There's some I'm saving, like Fat Man I'm gonna save when we get closer to like Christmas and stuff, so, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna review Braveheart. So we're gonna do that next week. I just feel like it only makes sense to watch that after this, but his performance in this scene alone, when he's clutching his son, and it's like, oh, fucking before that, there's a scene where, because he saves I should have mentioned this, when he saves his son from getting captured. This was after they killed everything, after they killed his middle son, and there's a scene, he almost like goes like berserk, because he has like he's like these hatchets, and it's just hacking away at this red coat. It was, yeah, man. Like, Mel, he turns up the intensity for every movie. Like, it doesn't matter the movie, he turns up the intensity. Even in like Expendables 3, I thought he had some good intensity, but in this, it was. But yeah, that scene where, yeah, his son, that acting is like, that's believable. Like, I could believe that's how a father would react if his son died, like right in front of him. So yeah, he pulled it off. And then that scene when he's ready to quit, because like that took like basically his hope, and I can understand his hope's gone now in a way, because like, my son's gone. But then he sees his son making the flag, and his flag that his son made, or Gabe made, and it's like almost like the faith kind of got restored in him. He rejoins the fight, and there's a series of battles, kind of, until we get to the big battle. Oh, because there's a scene where Cornwall has a face-off with Cornwallis. Sorry, not Cornwall. Cornwallis has a face-off with Martin. I love that scene too. Like the back and forth. Like, I like the action stuff in this movie, but this is one of those movies, I just enjoy the talking and the dialogue. It really does capture this world, like, or this time period, and it just is, yeah. Kind of does make me a little bit, kind of want a bit more Revolutionary War stuff, because I do feel like it's like we barely get in a lot about the Revolutionary War. I understand, because maybe like specifically for gaming, right? I can understand, because I know this is a little side point. There's not as much weaponry at that time, so I kind of can get that. But like movie wise, I just feel like, I don't know, maybe a lot of movies are just like, this one did it so good, we don't want to. Because yeah, this movie does, like, it did set the bar. Like, it really does. It's like, this is the definitive Revolutionary War movie for me. So we had the final battle. Oh, final big battle. Because there's like a little battle in the end where, where Cornwallis basically forfeit, or essentially quits, and yeah, he basically gives up. But it's like, it's a little battle. Like, this is the last big battle. This scene, the moment before they like charge each other, I love it, man. the cinematography for this film is done so well. The music, it's hit at the right time. I love that. Like when you can get the music right and you play it just at the right moment. Yeah. So we get the big battle and that scene. I feel bad for the horse, but yeah, fucking uh Martin stabs Tavington's horse. They have a fight, and I love it. And I just while they're fighting, you have like a bunch of shit in the background. That's what I love about their fight too. Is like usually a fight between a hero and the villain, you might do it somewhere where it's just them. I love that it's like right in the middle of this big fucking battle, and yeah, and it looks like Tavington he kind of gets the win because he gets a couple of slices on because he has like a sword while Tavington uses his hatchets, and Tavington knocks one of them off his hand and then the other one, and then like kind of slices him in the back. It looks like he has the advantage, but you have that moment where Tavington kind of does a monologue to kind of because he thinks he's about to win. While this happens, Martin grabs like a bayonet, just the without the gun, just like the blade part, and stabs Tavington before he can try to chop his head off. And yeah, it's and then stabs him in the throat. It's pretty fucking brutal, like just right in the throat. And basically, they end up winning the battle because the British retreat. Then I don't know if I think it's a little time jump, 1781. Cornwallis is basically getting invaded, and he basically gives up. And this is kind of where it sets up kind of like America's about to be built. Um, Martin goes back home to his family and his house, and basically everything is being rebuilt. Kind of big celebration in the end. I fucking love this movie. It's such an iconic one. I can watch this one like all the fucking time. I love just watching the dialogue, just watching people talk to each other in this movie because you got just some really powerful actors. The back and forth between Martin, Jason Isaacs and Mel Gibson, which is great. They're um fucking Paddington was the perfect foil for Martin, for Benjamin in this movie. It was like I loved their back and forth. Oh man, yeah, dude. Heath Ledger's death, man. It, it, yeah, he died pretty brutally. But it's not like he didn't die in vain. His dad got epic revenge on him, stabbed him in the throat. That's it. So, but 10 out of 10 movie. This is definitely a movie you put on for 4th of July, or even like kind of like Memorial Day. Even you can put this on. You can watch this like for that too. Like this is just. It really is how. This is how you do it. This is Mel Gibson really kills it in this movie, and just in general, the cast is great. Um, the set design, this is one of those cases where everything's perfect about the movie. And John Williams' score is great. Yeah, it's not like up there with his more iconic scores, but this definitely was a pretty good score. That music when fucking Gabe dies is done so fucking well. So I definitely recommend it. It's almost 3 hours, but it's not. It doesn't feel that way. Like, yeah, the first hour maybe is a little slow, but it's slow and to a point where it's still not boring. Like you don't feel like you're like out of it. It's like okay, it's just a little bit of build up, and then when it gets going, it gets going, and pretty much once it gets going, it gets going. So it keeps going. It doesn't it maintains and it's almost 3 hours, but it doesn't, like I said, doesn't feel like 3 hours. So I definitely recommend it if you have time. It's Mel Gibson's best. Yeah, if you're a Mel Gibson fan, you have to watch this movie. So when that scene during the battle when he's waving the American flag, I fucking love it. When he's like because he uses the flag as like a. That's what it was, not a fucking band. I fucked that up when he took out Tavian's horse. He used a fucking American flag, like the pole, because it has a spear tip at the part. I fucking love that. Yeah. So tomorrow, Candyman 2. I don't, like I said, don't remember. So I'm basically gonna be going in blind. I hope it's decent. I think it could be if Tony Todd carries it. It's all it kind of needs. If we just get some really good scenes from him, and it just depends on the character we follow, it could be all right. So, and 3, I don't think I've seen. I don't even think I've seen a part of it. I don't remember watching it at all. So that'll be next week, and then that shitty remake. When we get to the reboot, I am gonna. That's gonna be a bit. I'm gonna be going off. That movie was such a spit in the face of the original, and I can't wait to talk. I mean, I've talked about it in a video once, but not a whole video. Like I didn't do a whole video about it, but I mentioned. I think this was like it was around when I think I just saw it at the time. But yeah, it's a god fucking shit show of a movie. That movie was such a it was so disrespectful. Anyway, I don't want to go to it, but yeah, I'll be reviewing that in a few weeks. But yeah, the Patriot is awesome. Yeah, so my cheers, and I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.